Well, I'm Dave Butler, retired oral surgeon here in Madison. Grew up here and came back in 1985 and practiced for 35 years and then just retired at the end of last year. So, part-time musician all that time. Would like to go maybe more than part, but maybe not full because I want to do some traveling. But I'm involved with a lot of music for sure. COVID kind of put the kibosh on my retirement plans, but it's going to catch up. We'll all be out there playing again. Although the problem is we like rusty, or like Jimmy said the other day, we're all going to be rusty and sound terrible for a while. So. Well, I was in school all over the place, but the last 7 years of training was in Indianapolis. And I loved Indianapolis. I really do. I like cities, but not as much as I like Madison. So you can always go to cities, but they're not so fun to live in necessarily. It's just it's funny every time when I lived away from here, and even to some extent today. When I was working, and every time I came back, the first thing I did, every time guaranteed, was drive down the river. I love the river, so. And even when I was working a lot of times during the day, the first thing I'd do a little run around, drive the river, come back around Main Street, go, because my office was only like 3 blocks from my house, so I made a loop. So it just grounds you. You're here, feels good. When I moved back in '85, of course, I still had high school friends here, and some of them were physicians and or dentists, and so maybe I was kind of the catalyst. Several of them had already been talking about maybe putting a band together, and that's not, when I came back, that was like the catalyst, I guess. It was time to do it, so we put a doctor's band together. So we've had the band for 35 years. We're like the Rolling Stones, and with some additions and subtractions of members, but we still have 4 or 5 of the original members still in the band. And so I've done that all these years. And that was tough because we would play, like when the old Electric Lady was working, we'd play 10 to 2 at the Lady on Friday and Saturday night. And then I'd have to restart call on Sunday. And a lot of times I'd be at the hospital Sunday morning seeing somebody. And I had 3 kids. So it was brutal. But it was worth it. And so I was involved with that my whole career back here. Prior to that, when I was in high school, I played in high school band, and then I played in a rock band, soul band, when I was in high school called Soul Motivation, which we've actually kind of resurrected that band, and we play occasionally, so that's been kind of fun. And then I also play in It Sounds Like Dixie, which is a Dixieland band, and also the Madisonians, which is a big band, like dance music type of thing. So I keep pretty busy. And then other projects, the Red Bike had we reenacted The Last Waltz. I played in that, which was great fun. I'm playing in the house band that's being developed for the Mad Paddle, which is fun. So a lot of cool stuff. I got involved with Riverfest when it first started. Jeff Garrett had the original idea for Riverfest, and he called me, and we were good friends, and I'd stop in where he worked all the time. We'd be coming up with all these plans, and so when he came up with the Riverfest idea, he called me and said, I want you to be, you and Rocky Harrell to be the co-chairs of the band committee for Riverfest. And the reason that came out that way is because years before that, Rocky had come to Jeff in his position in the city and said, I want to do a rock concert here. And so Jeff said, well, that's a great idea, but it just never got off the ground. And then sometime after that, I was talking to Jeff because they used to have a big music festival in Louisville, sponsored by Brown-Forman. It went on. It was like a 7-day event. It was the American Music Festival. It was an awesome thing. And then Brown-Forman, I believe, pulled their sponsorship, and that was kind of the end of that. So I came to Jeff and I said, now that they're not having that on the river in Louisville, we should do something here. We have a better riverfront, and why not us take advantage of that? And my first thought was, let's do a blues festival. And my thought at the time was that I thought there might be some, funding we could get from the government, because blues is basically fundamentally sort of an original U.S., American music kind of thing. And I thought maybe we could get some funding to do this. And so Jeff said, oh, that's a great idea. Well, they kind of formed a committee, but then, that fell through. They never met. That dropped out. So then when Jeff finally got that decision to let's go with Riverfest, he called Rocky and me and said, okay, you guys are the band committee, and And so then we came up with sort of the parameters, and we picked other people to be on the initial festival committee, and that's how Riverfest started. So I've been on the band committee all 20 years that we've had Riverfest. You know, M3, Todd and Jimmy kind of sort of started up with the idea, and Todd called me, and I think it's a great committee because we have a really broad basis of people from all different walks of life, but all are music people. So, and everyone has their own perspective and their own preferences in music, which is great. And we're very fortunate to have Michael Fortunato, who just has a wealth of knowledge. And I just feel like, for me, I think it's a really important thing. And I feel like I'm kind of a worker bee. I just kind of, you tell me what to do, I'll try to do it, you know. But I think M3's we had a really nice meeting today. We covered a lot of ground. We, more than anything, just divided up sort of responsibilities in 3 major categories so that we can kind of get ourselves organized to move on. I mean, we've done some stuff already. I mean, last year we started the Friday concerts and lunch concerts, and those went over really well, so I think this year they'll be even bigger. And I'm thinking now that COVID's better, we can even bring some artists from other towns in. We still want to use all our local artists because we love them, but we have a lot of Cincinnati artists that, especially that have come into like the Red Bike and that sort of thing, that would love to come here, but nobody was traveling, you know, last year. So, and all the musicians here in Madison just did a great job, got us through the summer on that. So, and I don't know if we even had anybody play twice, so it was good. So. But, you know, I think M3's, we've got some great ideas if we can bring them to fruition. I'm a 100% believer in the fact that if we improve the culture of the arts in Madison, it makes everything better. People will want to live here. Not only the musicians that we're trying to attract, but other people who will bring in other people who want to live here, which will help industry come in if we need it. I mean, which we always need other businesses. My goal would be, I think with the new hotel coming, I want to see it where we don't have a single store on Main Street that's empty. You know, being involved with the Riverfest, and then I also have friends that are musicians other places in the country that have come here. I've got them to come here and play the bike and stuff. Musicians that come through here are just always blown away by the place, and you know, they're always like, I always try if I have time during Riverfest, if they show interest in that, I'll try when I'm picking them up, or if I'm the one driving them, I'll take them on a little tour of Madison on the way, or if they have certain interests, I'll take one of the guy played with, he played bass for Robin Ford. He also played in the Black Crowes. Great guys from New York. He's really into photography, and he likes old signs. So I spent far too much time, but I drove him around, took him to show him the Hen and Ben store, you know, on Main Street. I knew he would love that Hen and Ben sign. And, you know, I'm thinking he's just going to take a picture of it with his camera. No, it was a tripod, like a 15, 20-minute thing, you know. So I took him just like 2 or 3 really old signs, and he loved it. He was like, "God, where's the closest airport? I want to live here." And I said, "Well, you know," I told him, "it's just Cincinnati or Louisville. It's an easy jump." But, you know, like for a lot of people like him, he's a sessions musician mostly, so he needs to be right in the heart of things, so he lives in New York, you know, so. But, I mean, it's amazing to me how many people, I've had musicians come, you know, that were from California that went and got a real estate guide because they were really serious about looking for something, you know. So that's what we need to be able to facilitate that, you know. If they show interest, back it up. You know, I didn't have any, I just took them there and got, but I mean, we really need to have that ability to facilitate that. Help them say, if you're really interested, we'll hook you up with the right people who can help you see what's available, whether this can work. So, but it's amazing how many of them just absolutely, I take them, you know, I pick them up, they're always up on the hill, usually in the hotels. I always bring them down either Hanging Rock Hill or Michigan Hill. Always blows their minds. Buddy Guy, when I took Buddy Guy, I took him down Hanging Rock Hill, and he was like, "Oh my God," you know, he couldn't believe it. He said, "Why haven't you had me here before?" You know, Delbert McClinton was funny because he's been here twice. The second time, one of my other friends picked him up, and we were driving up Main Street because he was out at Clifty. He said, "Man, this town is gorgeous." He said, "How come you guys haven't had me here before?" And we're like, "Delbert, we had you here like 5 years ago." He's like, "Well, I'm old," you know, kind of thing. But it's everybody loves it, and we just have to be able to market that. always wanted to move back to Madison. There was never any doubt in my mind. And even being an oral surgeon, which is kind of an unusual for oral surgeons to be in a small town, I wanted to come back to Madison. So that's my hometown. I love it.